Hello everyone. I'm going to start with the National Urban Rental Housing Policy draft of 2015, which is in continuation with the previous housing policies. Very briefly, I will talk about this policy, and that would come, and with this I would come to the end of my housing policies, and I'll start with the next policy that is a environment policy. Now, looking into the National Urban Rental Housing Policy, this was a draft which was made in 2015. The urban housing shortage was estimated to be 8.78 million during the 12th plan period, with subsequent increase resulting from intense urbanization in future years. So, provision of affordable housing has been a priority area for the government in India. However, providing housing to all on ownership basis was difficult and was not even possible. So, the fact that a large percentage of households lived in congested conditions indicated that a large section of population need to find decent and adequate housing facilities, which should be initially it was unaffordable. Then the growing urban housing shortages in India provided the rationale for policy focus on promotion of rental. The high cost and there are two factors. First of all, the housing shortage, and secondly, the cost of rent was extremely high, as there were more and more population with much more higher rental to give. So, thus the policies focus on the rationale of rental housing in urban areas, which has been reorganized by the National Urban Housing and Habitat Policy. And this policy intends to promote sustainable development of ownership as well as rental housing stock in the country, with a view to ensure equitable supply of rental housing at affordable prices to all sections of the society. The National Urban Rental Housing Policy 2015 focuses on a multi-pronged approach, such as enabling legal and regulatory measures, encouraging involvement of private sector, cooperative, non-governmental sector, industrial sector for labor housing, and services institutional sector for employee housing to promote rental housing. The policy seeks to promote various types of public-private partnerships for the promotion of rental housing in the country, which will act as a catalytic force to achieve the overall goal of housing of all by 2020. So, the vision of this policy was to create a vibrant, sustainable and inclusive rental housing market in India. The broader objectives of this policies are to create adequate rental housing stock by promoting social rental housing with direct or indirect support from government as well as state, with special focus on affordability of vulnerable groups and urban poor. Secondly, to promote shelter facilities for the most vulnerable groups within the homeless population, such as single women and the dependent minor children, aged, infirm, disabled, mentally challenged, etc. Then to promote social rental housing for urban poor, particularly for economically weaker sections and lower income groups, as defined by the Government of India from time to time as a viable alternative housing option. Then thirdly, to promote need-based rental housing, short, mid, long-term basis for specific target groups such as the migrant labor, single women, single men, students, any other target group as defined by the state, who have the ability to pay only up to a certain amount of monthly rent. Then to promote market driven rental housing, which may or may not be eligible for direct benefits from the government. Then to promote private rental housing as an interim measure towards aspirational home buyers. Then to enable institutional rental housing hostels, PGs, dormitories for working class, with special focus on low earning employees working with government, PSUs, government, corporate houses, industries, NGOs, or any other category as defined by the state government. Then to enable legal or to remove legal, financial and administrative barriers for facilitating access to tenure, land, finance and technology, to enable formalization, regularization of rental housing on pan-India basis through adoption of Model Tenancy Act 2015 of Ministry of HUPA. Then to facilitate a fund flow from government and private sector through innovative financial instruments to incentivize rental housing, and lastly to promote public-private partnership to construct, manage, maintain and operate rental housing stock, that is cooperative societies, neighborhood associations, resident welfare associations and so on. The draft NURHP is a stepping stone towards realizing the vision and to create a vibrant, sustainable and inclusive rental housing market in India. However, the Government of India along with the state government had developed various models on rental housing and start e-marketing and started e-marking budgets to mainstream rental housing in India. As the respective housing markets are different, states and union territories will have to come up with their own rental housing policy along with the schemes with different models on rental housing, that is rent to own, shared ownership, model of management of rental properties with the private partners in raising necessary funds resources, especially towards providing social needs based rental housing. And the state should also necessarily come up with criteria of identification of target tenants for whom it would like to provide rental housing and support. However, the Housing for All by 2020 is an erstwhile rural housing scheme, Indira Awas Yojana, which was restructured to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, which started from 1st April 2016 onwards. So the PMAY Yojana or the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana program Gramin was launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, envisions to combat the significant deficit in housing among the urban poor population, and its aims was due to rapid urbanization, the country is in dire need of urban amenities, especially housing for the economically backward groups. Since there is a severe lack of housing in the urban areas, the government hopes to reconstruct 2 crore housing under the PM Awas Yojana by 2022. So these were the certain, Housing for All scheme is also known as the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and it was launched in 15-16 round, and it intends to provide urban for housing areas by 2022, and it comes under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs with the following objectives. First, that is slum rehabilitation of slum dwellers with the participation of private developers using land as resource. Secondly, credit linked subsidy. The weaker sections of the economy will be given Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana subsidy on home loans, and this home loan subsidy can be availed for new constructions and for the addition of rooms such as toilets, kitchen, etc. And affordable housing through partnerships. Financial assistance would be given to economically weaker sections houses when it is built in partnership with private or public select players. Then beneficiary led individuals house construction enhancements. This subsidy will be given to economically weaker sections categorized to either construct new houses or enhance their existing houses. The mission is to be implemented as a centrally sponsored scheme except for the credit link subsidy component, which will be executed as a central sector scheme. The Housing for All benefit the economically weaker sections, low income groups and the middle income groups. And to identify as an EWS or LIG beneficiary under this scheme, an individual loan candidate will have to present an affidavit as income proof from the concerned authority. A beneficiary family in the PMAY list will comprise of a husband, wife and unmarried children. Moreover, the PMI eligibility, the beneficiary family should not already have a house either on the name or in the name of any other family anywhere in India. And the PMI scheme also encourages women empowerment, which is why the houses to be acquired under PMI preferably should be in the name of the woman, head of the household, or the joint name of the male and his wife. There is a certain objective of this Yojana to support construction of houses up to 30 square per meter carpeted with basic and civic infrastructure, to promote slum redevelopment projects and affordable housing projects in partnership, having basic civic infrastructures like water, sanitation, sewerage, road, electricity, etc. To ensure that the houses under PMI should be designed and constructed to meet the requirements of structural safety against earthquake, flood, cyclone, landslides, etc., conforming to the Nation Building Code and other relevant Bureau of Indian Standards, and to encourage formation of associations of beneficiaries under the scheme like RWA, etc., to take care of the maintenance of houses built under this mission. There are various types of schemes which has been initiated under this Yojana. There are two, that is urban and rural. The urban component is known as in the urban, and the rural component is known as Grameen. There are four types of PMI under the urban scheme. Economically weaker section, this is for the families with an annual income up to rupees 3 lakh. The lower income group, this scheme is for the families with an annual income of rupees 3 to 6 lakh. Middle income group, this scheme is for the families with an annual income of rupees 6 to 12 lakhs. And middle income group 2, there are two categories, 1 and 2. First categories that would fall between 6 to 12 lakhs, and the other category with an annual income of rupees 12 lakh to 18 lakh. And under the Grameen centered or under the Grameen section, there are two types, that is individual house construction improvement. These schemes provide financial help to eligible beneficiaries, and this is for the construction or improvement of their houses. And in group housing ventures, these schemes provide financial help to group of eligible beneficiaries, and this is for the construction of group housing ventures. Then the components of Housing for All scheme, there are again four components which have been listed in the Housing for All schemes, that is in situ slum redevelopment. Central assistance of rupees 1 lakh per house is available for all houses constructed for eligible slum residents under the ISSR component, and the state or union territory government denotifies slums after rebuilding. Then states and cities are also allowed the freedom to use this central assistance for redevelopment of additional slums. Then credit linked subsidy scheme, beneficiaries of the economically weaker sections, low income group, middle income group 1 and 2 and other such institutions, they are eligible for interested subsidies of 6.5%, 4% and 3% on loans up to rupees 6 lakh, 9 lakhs and 12 lakhs respectively for purchasing, building new homes or improving existing homes. Then affordable housing in partnership, the Indian government offers central assistance under AHP in the amount of rupees 1.5 lakh for every EWS housing. A project for affordable housing also include a mix of homes for various income levels, and it will be qualified. It will only be qualified for central assistance if at least 35% of the project's home falls under the EWS category. Then beneficiary-led individual house construction enhancement. Eligible households for EWS categories are given central assistance up to rupees 1.5 lakh per EWS category for home building or improvement, and the urban local bodies validate the building plan and information that the beneficiary has provided, and based on the information they determine land ownership and other information like economic situation and eligibility. However, there are certain achievements in development of this scheme. It has made a significant progress in providing affordable housing to economically weaker sections. It ensures that every Indian will have a Pakka house by 2022. It also provides subsidized rates on home loans for both urban and local and rural beneficiaries. This makes home ownership more affordable. The scheme promotes the construction of affordable housing units, particularly true for the economically weaker sections and disadvantaged sections. It addresses the housing needs of both urban and well as rural areas, catering to a wide spectrum of the population. The scheme has encouraged financial inclusion by making it easier for beneficiaries to avail of housing loans, and it also gives preference to female members of the household as joint owners or beneficiaries. This promotes women empowerment and property rights. This also has encouraged the use of innovative construction techniques and technologies to expedite house constructions. Beneficiaries can also avail home loans at a significantly lower interest, thus making it housing more affordable. And lastly, CLSS and under PMI offers interest subsidies to credit linked subsidies and provided subsidies to on home loans, thus reducing the overall cost of the house for beneficiaries. Thus, with this I conclude the housing policies, and this Housing for All program is a great way to help the underprivileged in the rural as well as the urban areas, and particularly those who are economically weaker sections and those coming in the low income group. And this, in order to put this program into action, the government has undertaken numerous actions and initiatives. The aim is to accomplish effectively the mission with which it has the mission and vision of creating a sustainable, viable, affordable housing to each and every citizen. Thank you everyone. With this I end my housing policies, and now I will start with the environmental policies. I will give you a brief about the environmental policies.